Good evening, and welcome to the Wilkes County Hall of Fame Gala. I'm Revis Feltz, President of the Wilkes County Hall of Fame, and on behalf of our board, I am so glad you joined us this evening. We're going to celebrate excellence, honor remarkable achievements, and recognize some individuals who have made a lasting impression and impact on our community. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Wesley Wood, Interim Superintendent of Wilkes County Schools, who will provide some opening remarks and the introduction for our Master of Ceremonies for the evening. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Wood.
Good evening, everyone. I have the honor of welcoming you to the 12th Annual Wilkes County Hall of Fame Gala. I've been fortunate enough to attend almost every prior event in some capacity and have consistently left feeling more inspired than I did when I arrived. I feel comfortable that you will do the same tonight. I would like to thank you for being here and hope that you will continue to support the Wilkes County Hall of Fame well beyond this evening. Since I mentioned this is my 12th event, let me remind you that every penny raised from each of these events has been used to benefit the students of Wilkes County Schools. Grants awarded to teachers of Wilkes County Schools have totaled over $225,000, supporting areas of cultural arts, physical education, and athletics. The reason the Hall of Fame exists really is for three reasons. First, it's about honoring the past. The Hall of Fame preserves and illuminates the accomplishments of many of our former and present citizens. The publicity and attention brought to such excellence brings honor to those who have set high standards for accomplishments in their lives and careers. However, the purpose is more than honoring our past. It's also about embracing the present. This Hall of Fame gives reason for all of us to have a greater sense of unity and community pride as we reflect on the human capital and heritage that is preserved by the Hall of Fame. Our youth represent a large part of our present, and we must do everything that we can to ensure a bright outlook for the youth of Wilkes County. This brings me to the third purpose, which is to inspire the future. To inspire young ladies, young men, community members, people in attendance this evening, and others beyond Wilkes County. That is the purpose of the Wilkes County Hall of Fame. I also have the honor tonight to introduce our MC for the evening, Dr. Jim Brooks, who was born in Jefferson, North Carolina. Dr. Brooks arrived to Wilkes County Schools to begin his teaching career in 1985. Dr. Brooks has served the students and staff of Wilkes County not only as a teacher, but a mentor, department chair, and lead teacher for 41 years at West Wilkes High School. He has been recognized for his excellence in teaching at the local, regional, and national level. He is a prior Wilkes County Schools and Northwest North Carolina Teacher of the Year. Dr. Brooks has also had the distinct honor of being inducted into the Rhododendron Society of Appalachian State University. Dr. Brooks served on the Teacher Advisory Council for Governor James Hunt and was awarded the Order of the Longleaf Pine in 2000. That is North Carolina's highest civilian honor. Dr. Brooks has devoted time serving on the board of directors for many local organizations, such as the Wilkes Art Council, Wilkes Art Gallery, Wilkes Playmakers, Friends of the Library, Wilkes Chapter North Carolina Symphony, Wilkes County Singers, and the Johnny Walker Center. He's a member of Wilkesboro United Methodist Church, where he serves as assistant pastor for worship and the arts. Please join me this evening in welcoming our MC, Dr. Jim Brooks.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. It truly is an honor to be here tonight and to serve as your Master of Ceremonies for this event that I think is just so important to our community. Before we officially dive into the program, I have a few important thank yous to make. First, I'd like to thank our event sponsor, the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Their generous support is a driving force behind this evening, and we're incredibly grateful for their commitment to our community and to our schools. Next, I'd like any Hall of Fame board members in attendance tonight to please stand, and they may be busy directing people and doing things, but if you would please stand so that we can thank you for your vision and hard work. Let's give them a round of applause. We appreciate all that you're doing. We're also honored to have some familiar faces with us tonight, faces that you may have seen on the plaques, perhaps, in the hallway. If you are a Wilkes County Hall of Fame inductee alumnus, would you please stand and be recognized tonight? Thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for the incredible legacy that you continue to share. And finally, an event of this scale doesn't just happen by magic. I'd like for you to join me in a round of applause for Janet Staley and her wonderful Stone Center staff for hosting us so beautifully tonight. And now, to keep the appreciation going, it's my pleasure to welcome the person who keeps the wheels of this organization turning, Wilkes County Hall of Fame Board President, Revis Phelps, who's going to recognize some other individuals who made tonight's event possible. Revis?
Wow. This evening would not have been possible without a lot of dedication and hard work of so many individuals working behind the scenes. I'd like to take a moment to recognize a few of those who have made tonight truly special. Our board's dedicated Gala Planning Committee, Connie McNeil, our committee chair, Dina Parsons, Betsy Whittington, you guys stand, you deserve it, Sharon Oxford, Christy Perry, Angie Searcy, Susan Cogdell, and also our sponsorship committee made up by Kevin Sheets, our committee chair, and Alex Blair. Thank you for your time, your effort, your commitment you invested in making tonight a success. It is truly appreciated. In addition, I'd like to thank River Street Productions for their thoughtful and well-crafted videos honoring our inductees this evening. And a big thank you to Drew Cooper for all the editing and all the hard work. Thank you, Drew. Also, Wilkes Print Shop, who did a wonderful job with our programs that you have at your tables, and Cook Sporting Goods, who helped to provide all the chrysalis that our inductees will receive tonight. Thank you so much. And last, but certainly not least, a special message of gratitude to Miss Loretta Shoemate. Loretta, did you slip out of the room? Where is she? Loretta has willingly accepted every task thrown her way this year. She's been our lead communicator, our lead organizer. Loretta, thank you for all you do. And with that, Randall Parsons is going to lead us in prayer.
If you'll bow your heads with me, please. Almighty God, we thank you for just another beautiful day. We praise you for this time to gather, to have a wonderful meal, and to fellowship. Lord, we thank you for the lives that we celebrate tonight and the impact that they've had on so many. God, we thank you for this food and pray you'd bless it to nourish our bodies. In Christ Jesus' holy name I pray. Amen.
Before we begin tonight's Hall of Fame induction ceremony, we wanted to pause to recognize and honor the memory of a man whose impact on Wilkes County will be felt for generations, Mr. Mark Bird, former superintendent of Wilkes County Schools. Mark dedicated his life to serving this community with integrity, compassion, and an unwavering commitment to education. Under his leadership, Wilkes County Schools advanced not only in performance, but in purpose, fostering opportunity, equity, and pride across our classrooms and communities. He was more than a superintendent. He was a leader, a mentor, a tireless advocate for our students, educators, and families. Mark was a dedicated member of the Wilkes County Hall of Fame. Not only did his steady guidance help shape this board, but it helped to shape our community. And his legacy remains embedded in the success of those many, many that he inspired. Though he is no longer with us, his influence certainly endures in our schools and in our community and in the lives he touched. Please join me in honoring the memory of Mark Bird.
When you look at Mark's career, it all goes back to his time as a teacher and a coach at North Wilkes High School. That's where his heart was, building relationships, mentoring students. Even as he moved into leadership roles and eventually became superintendent, he never lost part of that. You could still see the Coach Bird in him every single day. It was very special to see former students come up to him and they didn't call him superintendent, they didn't call him Mr. Bird, they called him Coach. And they genuinely wanted to share their lives with him, where they were, what they were doing. That kind of connection doesn't just happen, it speaks to the impact that he had on people. Mark could not sit still. He was always moving and he was always thinking. He wouldn't sit behind his desk with you across the room in a meeting. He would say, let's go take a walk. He valued connection, he valued conversation, and he made even the smallest moments meaningful.
Mark was a good listener, and a good leader is a good listener. He and I usually sat side by side at the Hall of Fame meetings. He would digest what was said at the meetings, then he would speak up at that point. It didn't matter if it's something for the kids, something for Hall of Fame, something for a meeting that was coming up. He would always have time to sit down and talk about where he saw it going. You know, he was a person that I felt like was very open door policy is the way I would say it. He always had the teachers, the students, and the community on his mind. He was trying to do what was best for everybody involved. Even though he was busy, he would find time. And I think part of being a good leader is knowing who you're working with, to be on the same common grounds with that person, and that was Mark, going out of his way to know the people that he's dealing with.
We just had a great time. Something drew us together from the beginning. He was a good friend. We played a lot of golf together and had wagers and stuff, and I beat him, and then I would never let it down. Yeah, these are the clubs that I beat Mark with at one time with the wager, and I haven't bought a set since, so I think I hang on to him. He was a Cowboy fan, I was a Steeler fan. Of course, we lost to the doggone Cowboys, and I had to wear the darn jersey throughout all the schools in the system, and it was too small, and I'm like hulked out, and it was too small. But anyway, he made sure that I wore it because he contacted all the secretaries, and he would be at a school or two to see if I had it on. I remember it wasn't one day, but lots of days, and my mail cart would get missing. So I went and bought a bell, and I attached it to the cart. So when they moved the cart, I could hear it jingle. Well, Mark took the bell off the cart, and I couldn't hear it jingle, and he hid the cart. And I'm running around through the building trying to find the mail cart.
Was that when he was still at North, or was that?
No, that's when he was a superintendent.
We've had just a lifelong relationship since meeting at the high school. He could juggle lots of things on our trips to see the Cowboys play because he loved the Cowboys, but always the school system was at the forefront of his thoughts. Mark was an avid reader. Mark's also a songwriter. There was a coach here in Wilkes County, Mr. Shannon Slaughter. And Shannon went on to, has a bluegrass band now, very successful, I think at Alabama. One night, Mark called him and said, I want to write a song. So Shannon took his guitar and he went to Mark's house and they sat around talking. Mark's very good about spinning a phrase. So they came up with a song, I've hit everything in life but my knees.
I've hit everything in my life but my knees.
They entered that in a songwriting contest at Merlefest and the thing won. So Mark was very proud. When you go over to his house, Mark would have that over in his little display case and let everybody know that he was a songwriter. That was a lot of fun. And we just had a lot of fun together.
You know, you never want to be blindsided by anything, so I think that was the main thing, is the communication part. There were times where something would happen at school or I wasn't really sure about it, or something happened the day before and I was worried about the next day, and it was late one evening. I said, I hate to bother you, and he's like, you're not bothering me. You know, he just always tried to reassure you it was going to be okay, and it was kind of nice. You knew if you needed something that you could call him, and it was nice to see that personal side of him. He always gave me a hard time because I like to have fun at school with my kids. So for Halloween, I always dressed up for every principal's meeting, and there was one meeting that we had pictures made and we didn't really know, and he always gave me a hard time because I had on a Halloween costume in the pictures that were posted on DPI. So he used to joke with me every Halloween and be anxious to see what costume I had on.
Mark was influenced greatly by just his love of Wilkes County. He made a huge impact on his students and his student athletes that I still hear about. So I think for him, it was always about students first. You know, what would benefit students the most, what was best for Wilkes County, and I think that was always at the forefront of his mind. We had a person who used to teach history with us at North, and that person also transitioned into leadership in another county, and he passed away. Mark found out before I did, and Mark came up, made a special trip to North. First thing in the morning, called me to the office, tell me in person, so I wouldn't hear it from anyone else. And I think that speaks volumes about his character. You know, he didn't have to do that. He could have made a phone call. He couldn't have done anything, but that wasn't Mark. It was all about people, county, students, staff. They're all at the forefront of his decision making.
Me and Mark always joked. We were never serious. I mean, he was my family. He wasn't my principal. He wasn't my coach. He wasn't my teacher. But we always had a joke, and we always picked back and forth that once Mark retired, he would be the man that lived down by the river in a van.
When you're living in a van down by the river.
He wasn't about money. The small things, the outdoors, the sitting in the deer stand on a frosty morning, you know, and that was the stuff he enjoyed. I think his biggest thing that he carried a very heavy burden for was wanting everybody to see their full potential in themselves. Even sometimes when people couldn't see their full potential, he could. And he wanted them to strive, you know, to get there. And it never failed. We could never stop at a store and just get what we needed and leave. He always found somebody to interact with. I think sometimes he would talk to people not to talk to them, but to give them an opportunity to be heard, to make them know that somebody cares.
Some of my best memories probably is just out serving our schools. I remember back in COVID, he and I would go out to different schools and serve lunch in the lunch lines. When we were finished, we would have just food all over us. I remember one day, we were dipping spaghetti. He missed the plate, went all over my leg, my shoes, and you know, the cafeteria ladies would fuss at us because we were giving way too much food. We'd went through twice as much food as we should have, and they finally just came over and grabbed our hands and said, you guys got to stop. He never met a stranger. I can't tell you the times we would run into former students he had when he worked in other districts, former staff members, and he could walk right up to them, address them by name, and share something about them that was important to that individual at that given moment. And you know, he treated me the same way. That's just the type of person he was. He had that ability to connect. It's just that leadership gift that he was gifted with that not everyone is.
What's the weight limit?
He was just always so chill. I feel like I won't realize it until I get in my office. I can still hear him walking over to my office. That he has a very distinct walk that most of the people in the office could hear him coming. Mark was a true champion for students, and anyone who's ever worked with him, administrators, principals, staff members, have always heard him say that students always come first. And he was not the type of person that just because of his title, he wasn't going to talk to a parent about a concern that they had. He genuinely loved making connections with people.
He's very involved in our community, very well liked, very well respected. He leaves a big void there because not everyone is a leader that Mark Bird was. He was always the same Mark. Whether it was a civic meeting, an education meeting, he always made time to be part of that, and he did as the voice for the students and teachers and the community.
Lots of times I would meet him in the hallway out there, and he'd walk around with his chest all popped out and stuff, and I'll say, Mark, where'd you get that jacket you got? And he would tell me where he got it, and I said, well, you need it next time you go get a bigger size. I think of Mark every day, especially when I see a black Toyota pickup. That's what he drove most of the time. Yeah, I keep looking, I'm thinking, well, then I say, well, I know it's not him, but I wish it was. He left a legacy for someone to look up to and follow his footsteps.
One of the things he always talked about was the picture of Daniel in the lion's den. He said, look at that picture. And I said, his picture. He said, yeah, but look at Daniel. He's not looking at the lion, he's looking up. So he's not focusing on the problem, he's focused on the solution. And that probably helped Mark, because being a superintendent, there's people coming from all sides. I just think his legacy will be one of remembrance and one of, the people that Mark's worked with, they saw him lead by example. So that's made a huge impact, I think. I think he believed that if he surrounded himself with good people, good things would happen.
Well, I think people will always know that he cared about people and he cared about the kids. I had one student that had written a letter to him, and he was just talking about how he appreciated that when he came to our school to visit one day, that he actually sat down and ate lunch with him. And he just thought that was the coolest thing, and he was so appreciative that he got to spend that time with him. He worked his way up, and I know he worked in other school systems, but I think he always felt like Wilkes County was home. I know he was very proud of Wilkes County schools.
Mark had a sign on his classroom door that said, many people have dreams, but only a few stay awake and do them. And I think that perfectly encapsulates a lot of what he accomplished. One takeaway from Mark is that he cared about his family, he cared about his friends, he cared about his community, he cared about his students and his staff. And I think that was what was most important to him at all times.
A lot of times I noticed if I was with him and we saw some of his former students, it wasn't a hand wave or nothing. I mean, it was a yell across the parking lot at the convenience store, and it probably wasn't their name. It was probably their nickname that they gave them in football. It's just, and that's who he was outside of work. He could, let the professional down a little bit, and that's who he was. There's definitely going to be a void. And as far as his legacy goes, he is his legacy.
Mark did a great job of putting himself in the role of a bus driver, the role of a custodian, the role of a cafeteria employee, the role of a teacher or a principal. He always just wanted to keep people at the front. That was what he was focused on, was people and connecting with them. His genuine care would be a lasting impact. His ability to be the leader that he needed to be each and every day, but also just the ability to let his hair down, be human, laugh with you, celebrate with you, but also lead you. There's just not many people that can connect with people the way Mark did. He's just going to be greatly missed.
Yeah, I've hit everything in my life but my knees.
Thank you, River Street, for that beautiful tribute to Mr. Bird. The Bird family is here with us tonight, and we thank you for being here, and our thoughts and prayers remain with you. We're gathered here tonight for a truly profound purpose, to celebrate the heart, the history, and the very fabric of our community. The Wilkes County Hall of Fame was established to recognize exceptional citizens who've made invaluable and lasting contributions to our county in the areas of the arts and entertainment, enterprise, sports, and leadership. By celebrating these extraordinary lives, we're doing something even greater. We're sending a powerful message to our youth. We want every young person in Wilkes County to look at tonight's inductees and know that they too should strive for excellence in any endeavor that they undertake. These men and women are not just names on a wall. They are powerful role models. They are a living source of learning, inspiration, and profound hope for the next generation. One way that we accomplish this is through the James Cook Leadership Breakfast, where middle school and high school students from Wilkes County Schools have the opportunity to hear from Hall of Fame inductees, to hear their life stories, and to hear the wisdom that comes from life experience. It's a wonderful way to extend the impact of our inductees. But inspiring our youth isn't just about looking to the past. It's about investing in their future right now. Every single dollar raised through this gala event goes directly back into our community through instructional grants for Wilkes County Schools. We're directly funding innovation, creativity, and excellence in our classrooms. On your tables tonight, you will see donation cards and a QR code. If you feel inspired by the stories that you hear this evening, I encourage you to scan that code or to fill out the card and make a contribution to the grant fund. Including this year, over the past 12 years, $275,000 in grant money has been given to Wilkes County Schools. I also want to thank tonight our production sponsor, River Street Networks. They're providing full video coverage of our event tonight, and they've crafted the tribute videos that you're going to see tonight. Thank you, River Street, for helping us to tell these uplifting stories. Let's do it. And now, without further ado, let's begin honoring the Wilkes County Hall of Fame class of 2026, who have shaped our past, inspired our present, and paved the way for Wilkes County's future. Our first inductee is a true Renaissance man whose life's work is woven directly into the natural beauty, rich history, and vibrant culture of the Yadkin Valley. He first came to Wilkes County in 1974 as a student athlete at Wilkes Community College. After earning his degree from North Carolina State, he dedicated 30 years of exemplary service to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, safeguarding the W. Kerr Scott Reservoir. But retirement didn't slow him down. Today, he continues to connect our communities as the executive director of the Yadkin River Greenway. His passion for our heritage is legendary. He was instrumental in developing the Wilkes Heritage Museum, even capturing some of our local folklore in his book, The Ghost of the Yadkin Valley. A devoted musician, he's graced the stages of Merlefest for over 3 decades with the Banknotes and the Celtic Sessions. From preserving our national trails to teaching local students about the Overmountain Victory Trail, his Wilkes County roots run deep and his impact is unmatched.
If you just mention R.G. Absher, almost anybody in a room is going to know who he is and have some experience or some story to tell. He's touched the lives of so many different people. R.G.'s been such a great mentor to me. He knows so much about Wilkes County, the history, the heritage, but R.G. also has been so instrumental in spreading the history of our area of Wilkes County through the American Revolution. He connected the museum with the Overmountain Victory Trail, specifically the Wilkes Surrey chapter. And so we were able to partner with the National Park Service every year to create programs for 4th graders to tell them about the history of our area and the people from this area and how they contributed to the freedom of America. Every year he dresses up in his authentic American Revolution costume, and he tells the story of the Over Mountain Men to groups of fourth graders. Hundreds and thousands of kids every year get to hear about this story that they normally wouldn't know anything about.
We'll be on stage playing sometimes and look over at him. He'll go into a dissertation about the history. We'll just stop for a few minutes and just listen and learn, because he's a wealth of information. The next thing you know, he said, I've got something for you to put on. So the whole band will be dressing up and putting everything on, and he plays the part 100%. I've known RG for nearly 40 years. Spent a lot of miles on the road going to gigs and stuff, and it's been really enjoyable. He's a great guy. Always looks on the bright side of everything. Even for a down time, he can find something positive. That's something that we all could learn a lot from. We played a little show down there near Charlotte, and we had a flat tire on the side of the road. We got out of the vehicle and we looked at it, and RG looked around and he said, we couldn't have had a better place to have a flat tire. This is just a perfect place. We can change this flat tire. Everybody just started laughing and said, RG, you beat anything I've ever seen. But he's positive. He always brings the positive vibe. RG is somebody who's not just somebody who just wants to be a part of something. His hands are in so many fires, RG cannot just go and just sit. I'll guarantee it. If he's at home now, he's got his instruments in his hand and he's looking where he can play or where he can do this or what he can do the next thing.
He plays the banjo, the guitar, hammer, dulcimer, and fiddle. The multi-talented musician. He has performed at every Merle Fest as a musician and as an MC to one of the stages. My involvement with RG and his leadership, the restoration of the old courthouse into a Wilkes County Heritage Museum. Co-chairing the Save Our History Committee, which helps document the oral history of Wilkes County. What we did was we took the oral history and made DVDs of churches, of businesses, of individuals, of veterans, unbelievable stories, and we made copies for students they could go and play to the DVD and learn about different things about the flood, when the railroad came and why the railroad stopped in North Wilkesboro, or how North Wilkesboro was formed because of the railroad track. So much history that RG helped bring out. He helps with the ghost tours at the Heritage Museum and allowed other people to write books, not just him, about it. And it's good to have the past so you can create it for the future.
Ghost tours at the old jail in the Cleveland House. He started that program. He took all of the historical information that we had about those buildings and others in downtown Wilkesboro, and he was able to gather stories of supernatural sightings, and it's been very popular, one of the most popular programs that we've had at the Wilkes Heritage Museum. So that was a wonderful contribution, a way to spread the history in a fun and engaging way, and you just open the door for a whole new audience when you do it that way.
When he goes out and he teaches the youth and stuff like that, he's very engaging. And I think for the youth, that's very good. You'll remember stuff that is passed down. He's a great ambassador for everything he does, not just the music, or not just how he portrays himself and stuff like that. Whether you're youth or the older folks, either one, when you leave RG's presence, you're usually smiling yourself. Wilkes County is very, very fortunate to have RG around.
I'm happy to say that Wilkes County was a Preserve America community, even for Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. First Lady Laura Bush, this was one of her initiatives. It was a grant writing process, and I just remember how proud we were that we got that designation, and people showed up on the courthouse steps, and probably one of the funnest times I'd say that RG and I had together.
Anytime we needed help with a tour guide, with a music program, with any special programming at the museum, RG was always the first one to say, I'll do it, I'll help you. He's a great storyteller, and he's so talented, and this is an award that he is so worthy of, and I'm so happy for RG.
And musician to the Wilkes County Hall of Fame, RG Absher.
Well, it's incredible to be here tonight. And after watching those videos of doing the ghost tours and playing music, some of my friends that are here tonight, if you've been one of my bands, or like the Backnotes Band, a member of several of those are out there tonight, stand up. I'll let everybody see that you're here tonight. Billy G, I know, is here, Donnie Story, and West Tuttle over there. And my sister and brother-in-law are here tonight. Would you please stand? And Molly Brown's over there. Of course, we have a room full of people who are doers, who do good things for Wilkes County tonight. And we're glad that you all are here. And I've worked with many of you on projects. And if you are one of those people, please stand. It's a celebration for all the work that everybody's done. So let's give everybody a hand who are volunteers of Wilkes County. Okay, I promise not to do any ghost stories tonight, but we do have them scheduled for a Saturday night, I believe, at the Heritage Museum, still doing those, and I appreciate the comments on that. I would first like to thank all who are present today for your friendship and your support and your inspiration over the years. I believe that we all are a part of making Wilkes County a better place indeed. I also believe that your encouragement, your participation, our combined teamwork have helped motivate me and have led to various success stories and committees that I've served on, and organizations that have all benefited Wilkes County. And that within itself is a wonderful celebration. Wilkes County, I've always considered to be the county of volunteerism. I'm reminded that of the hard work and sacrifice that so many have given to Wilkes County. The efforts of working together have resulted in many good things. I would like to acknowledge the many who work in making Wilkes a better place, and all that you do in preserving its beauty, its history, its natural resources. And I would acknowledge that the leaders of Wilkesboro, North Wilkesboro, and Wilkes County government and the friendships that we've enjoyed there and the progress we've made over the years has been a great success. This is certainly the county to me of volunteerism, the county of participation. If you want to be a player and make something happen, Wilkes County is a perfect place to be. I would like to express appreciation for several wonderful Wilkes County organizations that I've worked with. W. Carr Scott Reservoir, first of all. I was there from 1981 to 2010, and would like to recognize the reservoir staff, the Friends of the Lake Group, the wonderful work that they do in protecting and promoting the environment around W. Carr Scott Reservoir. And the Brushy Mountain Cyclist Club and the 40-plus miles of trails that they have constructed around W. Carr Scott Lake. A lot of citizens are involved in doing good things here in Wilkes, and that's a joy that I see and something that I'm very proud to have participated in over the years. As you know, Wilkes County has an amazing history, and thanks to its board members and leaders, the Wilkes Heritage Museum has been instrumental in promoting our history for future generations of the citizens and visitors to our area. And I'd like to thank the members of the Rendezvous Chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution. I see we have several of those folk here tonight as well, for all you do in preserving history with such valor and such passion and such enthusiasm. It's a wonderful testimony to treat history with such reverence and such interest and such love. I would also like to thank the Wilkes Surrey Chapter of the Over Mountain Victory Trail for your tireless work in telling the story of the campaign of the Battle of Kings Mountain and preserving Wilkes County history. Since 2010, I've had the privilege of working as Executive Director of the Yadkin River Greenway Council, and I would like to thank the Yadkin River Greenway Council their board members, and their many friends who support this greenway system that I consider to be state-of-the-art, that we're proud to have here in the Wilkesboros, coursing through the towns of Wilkesboro, North Carolina, and portions of Wilkes County. People tell us that come here as visitors that they wish they had a greenway in their community. And some of our organizers, Dennis Huggins is here tonight, was in on the greenway even before I was as a past director. By the way, Dennis and I worked on many projects together. We could sit down and sit around a table and talk for a long time and not cover all the good times that we had in preserving, in history preserving projects. We have numerous close friends and family here tonight, and thank you for your encouragement and your support. I especially like to thank Molly Brown for her enduring care and support for the past 11 years. Molly, will you stand? Please, there's Molly Brown. Thank you. In closing, I would like to express appreciation for Wilkes County's many innovators, volunteers, and doers. We live in a place where people are the greatest resource. This has been the case throughout history. Even since Wilkes County sent forth 300 fighting men to the Battle of Kings Mountain in the Revolutionary War, ever since those times, Wilkes Countyans have been first to serve, step forth and serve for their country, to do things that are outside of their comfort zone, and to do things that show tremendous backbone, courage, and love of freedom. And I rejoice in that fact. In civic life, Wilkes County volunteers often step to the plate. We get behind such events as the Brushy Mountain Apple Festival, the Faith Fest, NASCAR races, and Merle Fest. We are blessed with so many Wilkes County traditions. Truly, Wilkes County and the citizens contribute in making Wilkes a great place. Thank you for joining in tonight's celebration. It's awesome to be part of Wilkes County, of the Wilkes County Hall of Fame. May we always seek to be keepers of the great state of Wilkes. Thank you.
Our next inductee was a titan of business, a champion for education, and a faithful servant whose legacy of integrity reshaped the landscape of Wilkes County. A proud 1964 graduate of West Wilkes High School, he went on to build a successful career as the owner of Bumgarner Services, King's Country Door, and the Lovett Company. He believed that professional success carried a profound responsibility to give back, a belief that he put into action for over 40 years as a foundational leader on the Wilkes Community College Board of Trustees. Today, his impact lives on through the Bumgarner Scholarship Fund, continuing to open doors for future generations. His leadership reached across the state and the nation, serving on major financial boards, the Wake Forest Medical Board of Visitors, and earning North Carolina's highest civilian honor, the Order of the Longleaf Pine. Yet for all his accolades, he was a man of deep humility who considered his greatest achievement to be his 61-year marriage to his wife Evelyn and the family that they raised together.
Terry was always very humble, quiet, always had a great sense of humor. Terry could always find something to say that would make people laugh. Somebody said he had a steady presence, and I think that describes him very well. Just always a steady hand, humble, quiet, but a fantastic leader and just a fantastic man. Growing up here, he had that Wilkes County in his blood. You know, he could have taken his business to Charlotte or anywhere. But he wanted to run his businesses from here and to grow them here, to help the community, and I think that comes from his upbringing here. It's all about giving back to the county and the community. He felt a duty to give back all the things that he was in our community. You know, the Chamber of Commerce, to the college, to the art gallery, to the bank, serving on the bank boards. I mean, I don't know what else he could have done. He's done so much. I think Terry had a sense of, we need to make Wilkes County better. We need to be able to have our kids come back here and make a good living and stay here. The way to do that was to work hard to make it a better place, and he certainly did it, and did it well.
Terry loved his community. He knew that if he spent time with us to take care of our existing businesses, to help develop properties, whether that be a site or a building, that it would give us more opportunity, and that opportunity would lead to jobs in Wilkes County for citizens. So he wanted to give back, and he wanted to make a difference. He wanted to leave it better than he found it. You look at the legacy that he left on our board, encouraging others to be strong and to try to look for ways to improve our county through jobs and investment in businesses. He's left a legacy there. He believed in investing in other people's lives, whether it be his family members, the community, the board he served on, people that he just ran across. He knew a lot of people, and he was able to make a difference for a lot of people by just being available to serve or to be a friend.
When Terry spoke, you really wanted to listen to what he was saying. Terry Bumgarner was a trustee at the community college. Actually, he served the community college as a trustee on the board for 31 years. You know, I look at Terry as a trustee, but also I gained a friend in Terry Bumgarner. He introduced me to a lot of people in this community and surrounding communities. Seeing Terry at events, whether it be the community college gala, the golf tournaments, graduations. He loved graduations. He loved pinning ceremonies. When you saw Terry Bumgarner, you saw his love for this community. You saw somebody that was not only shaped by this community, but that shaped this community. Terry grew up in Wilkes County, working just like anybody else. He grew his hard work and efforts into a very successful business, which culminated into Bumgarner Services. Looking at Wilkes County, probably dig into it and see Terry's fingerprint on a lot of things. When he saw a good idea, when he saw a good individual, he wanted to make an investment in it. He was always striving to make this county better.
He had a true caring for all the people associated with the college, the students, the faculty, everybody. I mean, 3 decades of work at the community college. I mean, some people may not know that the Board of Trustees, the college doesn't just call you and say, hey, will you volunteer? He was appointed by the Wilkes County Commissioners. He had to be reappointed every term. For 31 years, the politics in this county changed. The faces on the Board of Commissioners changed. Terry serving for them never changed.
When he came into the room, he always made sure that he spoke to everyone, shook their hand. It just made your day sometimes just to see Terry stop by the office and spend a little bit of time with you. He was happy. He laughed a lot. I know that our board meetings were better when he was involved because he was just a strong leader. If he wasn't there, many times he would call in just so that he could be a part of the meeting, or he'd try to get on Zoom. He was dedicated. He was going to show up and you could count on him. He always made sure that he gathered all the facts, and then he gave time to think about his answer before he responded. And so you knew that when he gave you advice that he'd given much thought into what he was getting ready to say. That's why others always listened when Terry spoke.
Watching how he would interact with the youth and work with providing them advice and opportunities. You could just tell that Terry always wanted other individuals to succeed. A healthy workforce is an educated workforce, and Terry wanted to grow the workforce in this community, and he did that. He helped us do that through the college and through his service. He could see what people were capable of, I think, a lot of times before they could.
I mean, he was always there. He was always committed. He was always speaking up. He was always in tune and involved. He had that true passion for service to this community that not many people have, and that's why this fits him perfectly. I mean, he's definitely a Hall of Famer in Wilkes County, no doubt about it.
Please join me in honoring a visionary leader of quiet dignity, lasting generosity, and true warmth as we induct the late Terry Bumgarner into the Wilkes County Hall of Fame. Accepting on his behalf are Evelyn, Joseph, and Christy Bumgarner.
That's hard to follow. Even as a thank you, that's very hard to follow, that beautiful introduction. Thank you to all fellow inductees and our friends, family, co-workers here tonight. This is an incredible honor on behalf of our family, and I'm grateful I wrote something because now I need to read it. Again, thank you all. This is a lovely evening for the food, fellowship, and everyone. Thank you. To the Wilkes County Hall of Fame board members, fellow inductees, and friends and family, on behalf of my mother, my brother, and our entire family, we thank you for the induction of my father, Terry Bumgarner, into the Wilkes County Hall of Fame. We are deeply grateful by this incredible honor and by the recognition of his life, service, dedication to Wilkes County. This week marked 1 year since our father's passing, and it also marks what would be our parents' 62nd wedding anniversary. Because of that, this recognition has been especially meaningful to our family during an emotional week of remembrance and reflection. Our father loved Wilkes County. The community shaped who he was, and in return, he spent his life, I can't read, sorry. He spent his life giving back to the people and places that meant so much to him. He believed deeply in hard work, integrity, faith, family, and service to others. He never looked for recognition or attention. In fact, if he were standing here today, he would probably be wondering why everyone was making such a fuss. But what we have learned over the past year is just how many people he impacted throughout his life. Time and time again, people have shared stories with our family about his kindness, his encouragement, leadership, generosity, and willingness to help whenever someone was in need. Some of those moments were big and life-changing, and some were small acts of kindness that people never forgot. That was simply who he was. To us, he was husband, dad, and pop-pop, the steady presence who offered wisdom, guidance, and unconditional love. He taught us by example. He showed us the importance of treating people fairly, working hard, keeping your word, and always being willing to lend a hand. His legacy lives on not only through accomplishments and contributions that he made throughout Wilkes County, but also the values he passed down to us as our family, friends, and community. It is also fitting that we gather here today in the Wilkes County Board of Education offices as a place that represents two of his favorite things: education and tools, as this was the former Lowe's hardware store. Our father was a firm believer in supporting education and the opportunities it creates for future generations. He believed education gave people the foundation to build meaningful lives and stronger communities. He believed in giving people the tools that they needed to succeed. While we miss him every day, his guidance, his love, his wisdom, and simply his presence, we are comforted by the impact he made and by the memories so many people will continue to share. Thank you again, Wilkes County Hall of Fame board members, for this tremendous honor and for allowing our family to celebrate Terry Baumgartner's life and legacy with all of you this evening. It is an honor we will cherish forever, and thank you so very much.
Our next induction celebrates a true powerhouse of community spirit. Both proud graduates of Appalachian Teachers College, this extraordinary couple spent their lifetimes lifting up others. He was a decorated Korean War veteran who went on to become a visionary educator, serving as a beloved principal and designing the very blueprint for Wilkes County's middle school program. She was a legendary English and social studies teacher at Mount Pleasant Elementary, affectionately and respectfully known by her students as Killer Kate, a champion educator who later successfully lobbied the state to clean up a critical medical waste site, saving countless lives. Together, they brought the first telephone system and health centers to Western Wilkes County. They were just as vibrant outside the classroom. He performed bluegrass music for over 60 years and joined the International Bluegrass Hall of Fame. While together, they traveled the country as competitive square dancers. Grounded in faith, family, and an unmatched work ethic, they proved that a quiet leader and a fierce advocate can truly change the world.
My grandparents were born and raised here in Wilkes County. My grandfather had to work really hard for what he earned in life. He was raised by a single mother, lots of siblings. He was always involved in sports. When he graduated from high school at Mount Pleasant High School, he worked some odd jobs, but then he saw that his best thing would be enlisting in the Army. He served in the Korean War, and then after that, him and my mama, Kate, they got married and they started a family here in Wilkes County. Most people know Papa Ward of his love of music. He's a member of the Bluegrass Hall of Fame in Kentucky, and that he was a dignified Wilkes County administrator for many years. Some of our best memories are Papa Ward singing songs and playing on his guitar, and we're just singing and dancing along with him. My mama, Kate, was also an 8th grade teacher at Mount Pleasant Elementary School for all of her career. So they are very loyal to Wilkes County, and that's what they have shown our family as well, is to stay vested with something and build it up.
I've known the Ellers really all my life. Miss Kate she's not the oldest member of our church, but she is the member who's been coming the longest. She's been coming almost 60 years. Ward was my 8th grade principal. He invested in me at a young age, and this is one of the things that stands out to me about Ward. He was a thinker, but he was someone that could talk to anybody. You could have on bib overalls and have tobacco juice streaming down the side of your mouth, or you could have on a 3-piece suit and he could talk to you. He knew all the kids' names. He knew what we were doing. He just invested in us. And then, of course, Mrs. Eller, Kate, she was in education as well. These people poured into young lives, and that's why so many people, young people, loved them and appreciated them as much as they did. They were so heavily involved in the church through the years and ministering in our community. And one of the things that sticks out so much for me about Ward was his work with the VFW. I don't know how many funerals he and those men attended that they did those 21 gun salutes. They'd come, and if a man had served in the armed services, they would come, and it'd be the middle of July. It's like 90 degrees, hot as all get out, and there's Ward Eller and those men, and they're firing those rifles. And that's the kind of man he was. Even as a retired man, as an older man, he grunted it out.
They're the kind of people you're thankful to know. Ward and Kate spent their entire lives serving other people in many, many capacities. I was not fortunate to know them until they were already an institution in the area. I got to know them because of my newspaper, things we were covering, the VFW in particular, involved Kate and Ward a great deal. Later on, when our newspaper started doing some music events at a small park we own called the Record Park, Ward played for us, opened the show for years, opening day, and was extremely helpful and kind, and gave us all kinds of advice on how to do things, but was just mainly whatever you need, he'd do for you. Kate was also a person that was involved in all kinds of community events and activities, ran everything from the bookkeeping for the church to a fitness center for a while. But she also found out about the Finley Clay Watts Retreat Farm radioactive site that had been sneaked into the county up in Purlear some years ago. And when she found out about that, she hit the ceiling and she went to work, and in effect was one of the main forces in shutting that thing down and then raising the money to clean it up. Can you believe we had a radioactive waste dump in Wilkes County? A lot of people never really don't know that, but we don't now. As time went by, I became very close to them, but they were the kind of folks that you're thankful to know. I've actually made the comment to their daughter, Karen. I said, only one complaint about your parents. And she said, what would that be? I said, well, I haven't known them my whole life.
We're very thankful that the VFW, in memory of him, the Ward Eller stage. So a stage is named after him. Looking back, I saw how the community welcomed him and my mama with open arms. Wilkes County has been so supportive of them. From a very young age, teaching and education was instilled in me, and I want to keep helping Wilkes County grow. They're the reason I do what I do. That's also a way I can keep their memory alive, and I feel like he's still with me. And I also want to keep working hard to make him proud of me and to make her proud of me. I miss him every day, and I think about him every day. They both were and are a rock of our family. And not just our family, I think, it's our community.
Ward and Kate were a couple that were two peas in a pod. They did everything together. The way that they loved each other was evident. The way they took care of one another, the respect that they showed to one another, it was beautiful. It was beautiful to watch how he'd open doors for her at the church. Truly just a fantastic couple. They're wonderful people. And to watch them pull into the church together, Kate holding on to Ward, Ward holding on to Kate, and to see their love in church, that embodied totally Ward and Kate Eller.
It was amazing to watch the two of them. He was in the hospital one time and I went to visit. She never left that room while he was there till he went home. They were that close. It was a blessing to watch that kind of caring of each other. And they shared that caring with anybody they were around.
Please join me in honoring two hardworking servants of our community, Kate Foster Eller and the late Ward Eller. Accepting the award with his mother is Mr. Doug Eller.
Good evening. My name is Doug Eller. I'm son of Ward and Kate. On behalf of our family, we want to thank all of you for such a wonderful honor tonight. Few people have been as blessed as Karen and I to have born to such a godly family. We're certainly thankful of that. It has been such an honor for our family to have worked, worshiped, served in the great state of Wilkes. I want to thank all of you in the community, River Street Communication, as Wilkes County Board of Education, and all of those who's worked behind the scene for tonight. Thank you.
Our next inductee has spent his entire life proving that a community is built through dedication, melody, and a lifelong commitment to leaving things better than he found them. Growing up on Harris Hill, he discovered a passion for music early on, co-founding the popular local soul and R&B band, the Downbeats, during his high school years. In 1973, he launched an incredible 39-year career with Lowe's Companies, witnessing the company skyrocket from 95 stores to an international retail giant. By the time he retired in 2012, he stood at number 7 on the employee seniority list out of nearly 250,000 workers. In retirement, his true second act began. Guided by the selfless example of his parents, he became a pillar of local philanthropy and volunteerism, from serving as a dedicated hospital volunteer to lending his leadership to the boards of the Yadkin River Greenway, the Wilkes Heritage Museum, and right here at the Wilkes County Hall of Fame. His name is synonymous with service.
I've known Bill for many years. My first encounter with Bill and his wife Ruth was at our church, and through the years, that friendship has just grown. Bill is real low-key. Bill doesn't jump into a situation without really thinking about it. Bill has such a passion for people. I think he has a passion for their needs, and I think he has a big passion for our community. We're involved in a crisis ministry at St. Paul's every Thursday. We open our doors to our neighbors that need help with power bill, rent, etc. One day a gentleman came in and his shoes were just about gone. So I called Bill to see if he had a pair of shoes maybe he would bring the guy. And in about 20 minutes, here comes Bill with a new pair of shoes. That's just one of the little things that he gives out of his heart, and he doesn't expect anything back from it.
Bill Harris was a co-worker of mine at Lowe's years ago, and since Lowe's, I have become a good friend of Bill's. He's quiet, but he has excellent interpersonal skills. Bill makes people feel like they're the most important person in the room, always willing to help whether you need advice or just need somebody to listen to. Wilkes County is known for its service ethic. I have worked with Bill on a wide range of projects. These projects have touched the lives of many people in many different ways. Bill was raised in Wilkes County, and he grew up in a time when it was tough in the 60s and 70s in Wilkes County, as it was anywhere else. But Bill is wanting to make sure Wilkes County stayed above. Bill's volunteer involvement has helped many nonprofits. The Health Foundation, the Wilkes County Hall of Fame, Wilkes Medical Center, Wilkes Community College, and Wilkes Community Foundation. Through his kindness and congeniality, Bill listens and enjoys meeting people from many walks of life. He's always willing to put the time in, no matter which organization, and because he's seen both sides of it. He has so much patience and kindness in his heart to do that. He's made a difference in Wilkes County.
Bill Harris is one of those people that you just instantly like because he is so friendly and so earnest. He's the kind of guy that has a superpower about rallying people together. He has served on the board of directors of the Health Foundation, where I work, since 2013. One of the things that I really value about Bill is that he makes up his own mind. This is a guy who does his homework. He's not the first to jump in and say, okay, it has to be this way or that way. He's going to really challenge his own assumptions. And he's really the kind of person who thinks and listens intently with an openness of heart that allows him to come to good conclusions. When it really comes down to it, it is about being in relationship with other people, being in good relationship with other people, having the respect of people from all sorts of different backgrounds. And I think that Wilkes County has been a place where he could thrive in an environment of inclusiveness and sharing of values.
He doesn't do it for recognition. He does it out of the kindness of his heart. He's supported Safe Spot. He's supported Circles of Care. Bill has been an acolyte, an usher, and just anytime anything's needed at the church, I promise you, Bill is always there to meet the need.
He has a unique way of helping others feel heard, understood, and valued. Bill is kind, well-respected in the community, patient, and well-known. And his desire and dedication for a better community make him an excellent candidate for the Wilkes County Hall of Fame.
Please join me in honoring a man of immense faith, generous spirit, and profound local impact, Bill Harris.
I would like to congratulate all the inductees and their families and to thank the Wilkes County Hall of Fame for this honor. Also, I want to thank my family and friends that are here tonight. You know, in life, a lot of things happen, and I think how you respond is influenced by the people you get to hang around. For me, this started with my family. My two brothers and I were fortunate to have our parents, Roy and Ovilia, who cared so deeply for us. They allowed us to explore and learn, but when we needed a course correction, they were always there. You probably don't realize it at the time, but looking back, we are truly grateful for the sacrifices Mom and Dad made for us. At an early age, I saw my parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, and neighbors doing things to help their churches, schools, and communities. This made a lasting impression on me, and to this day, I believe we should always work to leave things in a better shape than we found them. I graduated from Lincoln Heights Elementary School in 1965 and Wilkes Central High School in 1969. After graduating from Appalachian State University in 1973, I had the opportunity to go to work at Lowe's Companies. That was the beginning of my 39 years with Lowe's and where I discovered a new group of people to hang around. I want to thank them for their encouragement, help, and friendship through the years. There were so many people, but there are two that I want to mention. I worked every day with Alan Swink and Robert Cannon for over 20 years. Those guys taught me so much about the business, but more importantly, they taught me about working together as a group to accomplish common goals that benefit all parties with shared success. I think we made a really good team and had lots of fun and success. In 1997, I met my life partner. I just didn't know it yet. In 2003, Ruth and I were married. She added a balance to my life that I might not have ever known. We have 2 daughters, a granddaughter, a grandson, and 2 great-grandsons. Ruth, thank you, and I love you. As we go through life, we're presented with many opportunities, good and bad, small and large, easy and hard, or somewhere in between. At times, we think about what we did and how we did it. Last month on the hillside at Merlefest, Jim Lauderdale and the Game Changers were playing a song I had heard several times before, but this time it made a little more sense. The song is The Opportunity to Help Somebody Through It. And the lyrics of the chorus are, the opportunity to help somebody through it, the chance that they might need the help in getting by. Someday somebody's going to ask, how did you do it? It just took a little try. Thank you for being here tonight.
I wanted to mention again that on your tables tonight, you'll see donation cards and QR codes. If you feel inspired by the stories that you hear this evening, I encourage you to scan that code or fill out a card to give to our grant fund. To see exactly what your generosity accomplishes, let's direct our attention to the screen once again to watch a brief video highlighting some of the incredible school grants that we were able to fund this year.
So my name is Kelsey Wilburn, and I am the art teacher at all three of the East Elementary schools, so Rhonda Kleeman, Roan River, and C.B. Eller. When I came to this position this year, I realized that I did not have good quality updated painting supplies. Paintbrush bristles were falling off onto their paper, water cups were getting spilled. We had little yogurt cups we were using, very resourceful, but I just felt like if I could get some better quality materials that we could do a lot more painting projects and it would be more successful for the kids. So I decided between the three of my schools to ask for funds to just get updated supplies. So I got new paints, new paintbrushes, no spill water cups, all that I felt would help the kids grow their confidence with painting. A lot of kids, they don't get to use these supplies at home, so some of them come in and it's like, woo, they just want to paint everything. I didn't realize until moving into this position, but art can be really hard for some kids. They don't just have that confidence with using these materials, and so I think this is providing them those opportunities to see that, hey, I trust you to use this really cool new material we have, and you're gonna get to paint a lot more because of it. So it just kind of helps them take pride in their work and do something that they might not be getting to do at home. I knew that I wanted these materials for all three of my schools. I took the max amount that they offer, and I divided it into three. And I tried to come up with a project that amount for each of the three schools so that I'd hopefully get it for all three of the schools. Thankfully I did. It worked out great. So now I can have all of these supplies for all of the elementary kids in the East District. But it was a very simple process as far as the application. They try to make it easy for teachers if they are interested and they want to ask for those funds.
The West Wilkes Middle School Drama Club performed the play The Little Mermaid this year. My drama club is funded fully off of grants and donations. So everything that we have for drama club at West Wilkes Middle School has been funded off grants and donations, and I have been very fortunate to receive the Hall of Fame grant in the past. We invite our elementary kids to come and see it. It's kind of an outreach program for them. We had about 600 elementary kids come to West Wilkes Middle School from our feeder schools, Mount Pleasant and Millers Creek. Drama club's open to 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students. It's just a pretty important program here at West Wilkes Middle School that's been able to be continued, and it helps that we can bring in the elementary kids to offer them the opportunity to see something that maybe they would want to be a part of when they come to West Wilkes Middle School. There are students in this school who don't have a voice anywhere else except on this stage. I can think of a few that don't talk when they're at school, and when they're in drama club, that's their place. They found their place. So I think it's really important because some kids need a place to be, and so I've always tried to pride myself on offering that opportunity for drama club to all different types of students and just having them come in and be a part of that and maybe find their voice. This is actually my 20th production at West Wilkes Middle School, so it was a pretty special thing for the kids in the show this year, and then we also were able to recognize some alumni from past productions too. I have written the grant before for the West Wilkes Middle School Drama Club, and I have received the grant before. It's a pretty simple application, and I just think it's a really great opportunity for us to be able to have that extra money to buy the things that we need for the drama club production so that we can kind of make it our own for every year.
We do it every year. You got to do your research. You got to find the funding, how much you need, the cost of everything, and you simply write it up, tell them what it's for, and you're very, very honest what you're using it for, and you submit it. The principal's got to sign it, and we send it in and pray for the best. This grant was to get shoulder pads. We have some outdated shoulder pads here at West High, and this is a safety issue. Done a research on what shoulder pads we could afford and what needed to be done, and we were able to win the grant and buy 5 sets of shoulder pads. Helmets have a 10-year lifespan. Shoulder pads are pretty similar. Of course, you have to check them out. They got to be recertified. It's a big safety issue. So we check them out constantly, and we had some ones that are aging. These right here are exceptional shoulder pads that offer the latest protection there is out there in the market, as well as extra protection underneath. These are brand new. We actually received these last week. Ordered through Cook's Sporting Goods, and funding is hard. It's getting harder and harder every year. We're always trying to find ways to help our students, help our student athletes. There's all kinds of opportunities out there, but it's a matter of putting in the effort in order to do it. You know, things are hard. It's hard for everyone. So very, very thankful for the Hall of Fame grant and that committee, for the fact that they're helping out local schools, local student athletes, and just students, period. When student athletes get new gear, they love it. They absolutely love it. I've had 2 or 3 guys see these shoulder pads, they're like, "Coach, is that mine? Is that my shoulder? Is that a pair of mine?" So they get really, really excited. And then when we explain to them where the money comes from, and then it's like, well, we got to thank the people who have helped us out. I want to thank you for what you're doing, even if we don't receive one, but what you're doing, and you're making Wilkes County schools better. So we're very, very blessed.
It is wonderful to see the tangible impact of the grants in our classrooms. And let's be entirely clear, if it weren't for the outstanding support of the sponsors in this room tonight, the Hall of Fame simply would not be able to give back to Wilkes County Schools in such a wonderful way. So thank you all for giving. Our next inductee is a visionary leader whose life story is a powerful testament to transformation, courage, and the life-saving power of community. Born and raised right here in Wilkes County, she grew up rooted in a love for the arts, dancing competitively for 16 years, and inheriting a deep belief that creativity has the power to heal and connect. But her path also led her through the crucible of addiction and mental health challenges. Instead of letting adversity define her, she transformed her lived experience into an unwavering purpose. She founded the nonprofit organization Wilkes Recovery Revolution, serving as executive director and building a grassroots effort into a nationally recognized powerhouse that hosts 11 transformative programs. Her authentic, compassionate leadership has earned her the Great State Hero Award for Crisis Assistance and the Todd E. Whitworth National Humanitarian Award and recognition in Washington, D.C. A dedicated mother, church elder, and advocate, she has shared her story on a global stage through a TEDx talk, proving that no one is beyond hope.
There is hope in the midst of great darkness. She has lived experience where she's come out of that darkness and is in the light now, and she can offer a pathway for others to do the same. She meets people where they are. All of us are a little different, but we have a lot of common difficulties. She listens, and then she's prepared to help. This is where she grew up, and her hometown means so much to her that she simply felt like giving back to the community. And she is, in a tremendous way. She is so instrumental in the recovery of Wilkes County citizens right now. She is a good friend, a very loving and caring person with a deep love for the citizens of Wilkes County.
During her hard times, when she was addicted, she spent about 12 years in recovery. And to say how far she's come to where she serves so many other people, it's just remarkable what she's done. She loves Wilkes. It's always been her home, and she's done her share. She knows what they need. Every little town, I think, needs help in recovery. I've known some people that have gone through the recovery, and what the organization gives is just not come in and say, "You're an addict. What are you going to do about it?" When they come into this recovery, it's not an option. You will recover. I'm so proud of her because of what she has accomplished.
they're going to most relate to somebody who has walked that same path. She is not holding herself back, is willing to be vulnerable. The path that she walked is now the foundation for what she's been able to build, is just a strength in her to be able to make it become such a positive thing in her life. Most of the time when you think of somebody who's gotten into addiction, you almost tend to think it's just something that's carried down, and so they have that tendency because that's the example that they saw, where hers is totally not. She was very, very well accepted at school, very involved in extracurricular, earned the most likely to be remembered superlative as a senior. From all intents and purposes, you would look at her and say, this student is going to just go out into the world and become something extraordinary. Due to some circumstances with injuries and getting prescribed medicines to be used for those, they became an addiction to where she pretty much lost everything. And then that's repeated thousands and thousands of times over in this country. You just have an injury, you haven't done anything wrong, you just got hurt, and then this is what comes of it. It's very sad. I met her 10 years ago when I had somebody very close to my family coming out of incarceration, and we were able to make arrangements for this person coming out to have a place to go, and it turned out to be the best thing ever for him. In the time between then and now, I cannot tell you how impressed I am with her initiative, with her leadership, with the passion and the vision that she has for Recovery Revolution.
They offer so much, places to stay and while you're going through recovery. And her staff, several of them are recovered that have been through, they have made it. She gives them hope. I mean, it was hard. She was in the recovery, like I said, 12 years, I think. She reached out and has had a lot of help. Just wanted to do something because of what she had accomplished. Like I say, I'm very proud of her.
There's so many good stories about people who've come through the program and have succeeded. Rather than be condemned, it's an embracing of the fact that, yeah, we all mess up. There's forgiveness and there's offers to make a better life henceforth. Addiction and alcoholism is epidemic in our country. We can do a small part here in Wilkes County to combat the problem here, but as Devin has instilled in the program, it's reaching far beyond Wilkes County now.
Until Devin, nobody felt the need to step up and realize what was lacking here and what was needed. And the growth in the past 10 years to me is just phenomenal. And again, it's her passion and her vision. She is so competent in what she's doing. I'm amazed and inspired all the time. Recovery is possible with hope and with help. What more can it be to inspire somebody and give them hope than to see, oh, this is somebody that did walk through it, and now look where they are.
Please welcome into the Wilkes County Hall of Fame a champion of dignity, a beacon of resilience, and a leader who lives life in full color, Devin Lyle.
Take a breath. All right. So tonight is incredibly humbling and honestly a little bittersweet. Growing up in Wilkes County shaped who I am. This community raised me, challenged me, loved me, and at times carried me when I could not carry myself. This honor feels especially surreal because just a couple of years ago, I sat in this very same room at a ceremony beside my father while we were visiting for someone else's induction. And I remember quietly saying to him, I'll know I've made it if I receive this honor one day. But in my mind, that was something meant for much later in life, after decades more of service and experience, like so many of the people I admired that have been inducted before me. And the truth is, the person I wish could be here the most tonight is not my dad, Jim Lyle. He was one of my biggest cheerleaders. He believed in me long before I fully believed in myself. And he always hoped to see this moment happen one day. So tonight, this honor is for him. I carry his love, creativity, and belief in me with every room that I walk into and every life that I have the privilege to serve. One of the greatest blessings in this life has been my family. We've walked through joy, pain, heartbreak, and through a lot of different chapters together, but we kept showing up for one another. That unwavering love taught me what community truly looks like long before I ever built that professionally. I also want to thank my incredible team at Recovery Revolution and all of our community partners. None of this work happens in silos. Real change only happens when people are willing to come together across organizations, across systems, and across differences, and choose compassion, collaboration, and hope. Every life impacted through our work belongs to all of us. My story has not been perfect. There have been many chapters of pain, loss, addiction, and struggle. But through that lived experience, I found empathy, purpose, and a deeper understanding of how important it is to create spaces where people feel seen, valued, and supported. More than anything, I hope this recognition brings awareness to the mission behind the work. I hope it helps create lasting change within our organization and throughout this community, planting seeds of hope that will continue to bloom, grow, and provide shades for generations long after I'm gone. Because at the end of the day, legacy is not about awards, it's about people. It's about whether someone else found hope because you decided to keep showing up. In closing, I challenge all of us to leave here tonight, love people well, serve boldly, and do our part to leave this community a little better than we found it. Thank you, Wilkes County. Thank you, Wilkes County Hall of Fame. And thank you, Dad.
Our next inductee is a public servant whose lifetime of leadership has left an indelible mark on both Wilkes County and the state of North Carolina. She began her career in 1971 as a deputy clerk of Superior Court, eventually making history as the elected clerk of court who masterfully oversaw the transition of a century's worth of local history into our modern courthouse. Her dedication to justice and governance then took her to Raleigh, where she served with distinction in both the North Carolina House of Representatives and the state Senate, securing millions in funding for vital local projects, including our National Guard facility. Upon returning home, she shattered yet another glass ceiling in 2024, becoming the first woman to chair the Wilkes County Board of Commissioners. From her tireless advocacy for mental health and opioid prevention to her legislative work, she's earned the Duke Energy Citizenship and Service Award and even had a crisis center named in her honor. A leader who truly embodies a servant's heart, she remains a champion for our community.
She is a very strong person. She is very determined. She's passionate. Even though she has chosen public service in the way of elected office, she has not really done that to further herself, but to further her community. She's been in numerous government and municipal positions, and they're all designed to help people. So she's a helper, and that's what I like about her the most.
She was a great mentor. I trusted her completely. Her knowledge of the legal system, the judiciary system in North Carolina was amazing to me. The Senate's full of lawyers. Everywhere you look, there are lawyers. Shirley seemed to have more knowledge than any of them. Her many years as your clerk of court is, I'm sure, the reason that she had such knowledge, but it was certainly beneficial in the Senate.
She didn't become an elected official until after I had graduated high school. She started out in the clerk's office as deputy clerk and then later become an assistant clerk. She has a love for law, and I think it was her love for law that pushed her into running for clerk of court. When she worked in the clerk's office, that's where she developed her #1 passion, which is the substance abuse mental health.
It's not a secret that Wilkes County has kind of struggled with substance use over the past decade or so. That's just become a passion of hers, and she has chosen to serve her community in that way. Folks in our community that might not otherwise have access to substance use treatment, those services are much easier for people to access with the Randleman Center that we now have here. And she remains involved in that center. She's just a very impressive woman, and she sees a problem and she rolls up her sleeves and tries to fix it best she can.
Her career at the clerk's office, which spanned 34.5 years, prepared her for the next step. She retired as the clerk of court, and for 2 years, she stayed at home with my nephew. And then the opportunity came for the North Carolina House, and she decided to go to the House because she knew law, and she knew she could make a difference. Even though when you're in those seats, you serve a larger population, a larger district, my mom has always had a heart for the people of Wilkes County. When she worked in the clerk's office, she worked with involuntary commitment. She saw families deal with the substance abuse and mental health. So she could see that need in Wilkes County. You know, we had New River Mental Health, and that was a good place for people to go to. Then when they went away, it was committing them to the coast of North Carolina or wherever there was availability to Asheville. Well, that took the person away from the families. So then when she got to Raleigh, she had that experience from the clerk's office that it gave her the ability to work with senators and the governor in Raleigh, because you know most of them are lawyers. They have law degrees, and get them to see that things may not be working and might need some change.
She just continues to see where the need is, and she knows how to operate in that elected official space and how to be the most influential and use her voice in the best way that she can to help her community. And you know, not everybody knows how to operate in that space. I certainly don't. But she does. She uses that knowledge and skill and continues to this day to put herself out there in an elected position and help her community. Well, she lives here. She knows people here. She knows the culture. She knows the citizens of Wilkes County. And you know, she chose to go to Raleigh, among other things, to represent those folks that she knows so well. This community means a lot to her. It's a big county, but a small community. She takes pride in where she's from, and she is very serious about advancing the needs of people in her community and helping those who may not otherwise get help, if not for a person like Shirley Randleman.
She just did a wonderful job passing great legislation during her tenure there. Some of the legislation that she passed will make our families better in North Carolina. She was just a jewel at knowing what to do and when. She was very well respected, and we all loved working with her.
If you're from Wilkes County, you know the needs of Wilkes County. You faced those needs. When you live here and you grow up here, you understand Wilkes County, and she has a vast knowledge of Wilkes County. Who would ever thought that a little girl from North Wilkesboro would ever write a law, much less work in every aspect of law? She instilled in me at an early age to try hard. Don't let people stand in your way. Don't let anything stand in your way. Don't let a disability stand in your way. Get out and do it.
Please join me in welcoming a dedicated civic leader into the Wilkes County Hall of Fame, Mrs. Shirley Blackburn Randleman.
So thank you all for being here. And you know, I want to wish you all a good evening. You know, this has been a great event. I'm very blessed to be here, and I know you feel the same way. I'd like to start by thanking the Wilkes County Hall of Fame Board. This is an exceptional class of 2026, and I am truly honored to be inducted with this class. And I was telling my husband this week, I can say that I have a personal relation with each person that's been inducted. Mrs. Winkler was my 6th grade school teacher. So I can connect with most of the people that have been inducted. I want to thank my family. You know, they always supported me in my decisions. May not have always been 100%, but they were always there. Once the decision was made, they backed me up 100%. I want to thank the people of Wilkes County, because without the people in Wilkes County, I would never have been able to serve in any capacity. But most of all, I thank God that He created me with a servant's heart, because you have to care about other people to be effective in serving them. So I have always tried to maintain that touch with the people who live in our county. And I can't say that I don't like any of them, because I do love our county and the people who live here. We all have favorite songs. So one of mine is a Michael Jackson song, and I'm not going to sing, I'm just going to tell you the words. Song is Man in the Mirror. And the chorus reads like this. I am starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. No message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make the change. We are all that man in the mirror, and it's up to each of us to make the world a better place. So thank you, and thank you for this induction.
Our next inductee was a legendary figure whose long life stood as a master class in moral clarity, intellectual honesty, and an unwavering devotion to Wilkes County. A graduate of Appalachian State and UNC Chapel Hill, he initially found his calling in the classroom, dedicating over 2 decades to education, including 15 years as the esteemed principal of Wilkesboro High School. Never one to stop learning, he went on to study law at Wake Forest, passing the bar at age 45, and later making history as the very first judge of the Wilkes General County Court. His brilliant mind and reputation for justice eventually led him to the state capitol, where he served 9 terms in the North Carolina General Assembly. As House Minority Leader, he became a celebrated symbol of principled leadership, famously crossing party lines with civility to save Wilkes County from losing its land to a neighboring annexation. From leading the Brushy Mountain Baptist Association to supporting local farmers, he was a true servant leader who taught from the heart and led by example.
He was born in Blowing Rock, outside of Boone, and he was raised in a little bitty town called Aho. Back in the day, it was just a mountain. I mean, it was a cluster of homes with a church, but he just developed an innate love of Wilkes County and everything about it and made it his business to improve it.
He was born in the heart of Blue Ridge country, and his education was attained the hard way. He was considered to be one of the most educated men in the area, and he continued to seek knowledge throughout his life. Mr. Story held more positions of leadership in civic endeavors than any other resident of Wilkes County at that time. When he became superintendent of Wilkes School District schools, state school authorities have told us he was one of the most able men in the school system, yet in his modest way, he had never sought honor or recognition for his accomplishments.
He was completely ethical, truthful. He believed in public responsibility. He also was a firm advocate of education. He loved Chapel Hill. I used to go to football games with him. He was a terrible driver. He would drive down the road and he'd say, you know, over there 50 years ago. My parents would hold their breath until I got back home.
At an early age, I can remember being in a car with him, which was not always the best thing to do, probably the closest thing he had to a weakness. When he addressed you, he wanted to look in your eyes, and that doesn't work well driving. I am the grandson of Thomas Edgar Story Sr., given that he was born in 1888 and I was born in 1952, the first time I really have a recollection of him is around 1958 or 1960. So I would have been a roaring 6 or 8 years old. I got to be around him quite a bit, not as much as I should have been. He was not a person of small talk. He'd had multiple years in the legislature. He'd been a superintendent of schools, all these things that he had done. I think he was out of small talk. I mean, if he said something, it was something he meant to say, so to speak. He never told me anything about his accomplishments. Never said he'd been college degree, didn't have a master's, didn't have a law degree. The only way you got a taste of it was I would go somewhere, my sisters would go somewhere, and they'd go, "Are you T.E.'s grandson?" I didn't know what that meant. I had no earthly idea of the magnitude of what he had accomplished at that point in his life.
In 1939, T.E. was told by the Board of Education to join the Democratic Party, but he would not do that. He was summarily fired along with 6 teachers for that reason. A large overflow crowd of people filled the county courthouse and adopted a resolution presented by Paul Osborne in protest of the firing of Mr. Story and the other teachers of the Wilkesboro School District. People came to the courthouse, they filled it to capacity in protest of the firing of him because he was such a good guy. And everyone came out supporting him, but they wouldn't reinstate the teachers.
That's a classic example. He wouldn't compromise his ethics. He wasn't going to make it about the money. He wasn't going to make it about the party. It was about the children. And if he couldn't do it that way, he's going to walk away.
But that's just the way he was. If he believed in it, he was going to stand by it. And he didn't think you had the right to tell anybody which party they were going to contribute to. That motivated him to get into law. He got his law license from Wake Forest. He went on to open his law office after he'd gone to Wake Forest. He was elected as the first judge in Wilkes County, and that was to make it more accessible to the local people.
He pivots and he goes to law school, and he's practicing law, and I think he did 1 year as a judge, and then pivots again and goes to the legislature. The connecting thread to all of these to me is everything he did was service to Wilkes County. It was always for others, it was always service. And I've left out probably the largest component, and that is his love and devotion of church.
Somebody said that they really thought he was a minister at heart. I mean, he was a deacon, taught Sunday school every day to the young people. He was also a hard worker. If you wanted something done, tell T.E. to do it.
He never sought any kind of honor for anything that he had ever done. He just did what he believed in doing. He was involved in his church, in the schools, in the county, business also. He was just involved in everything.
He loved Wilkes County. I think he would be most appreciative and feel honored that his achievements and his accomplishments were recognized.
It's about integrity. It's about your word. It's about honesty. It's about service. It's about doing something for somebody else besides yourself. I feel remorse that I didn't know this when I could know him, that I didn't know the magnitude of the individual that I was dealing with. I think he would be extremely proud of this. It reflects that people got what he was trying to do for them.
Please join me in honoring a monumental educator, judge, and statesman who's being inducted posthumously into the Wilkes County Hall of Fame, Mr. Thomas Edgar Story. Accepting on behalf of Mr. Story is his granddaughter, Clarissa Story Feltz.
Good evening. First of all, I want to say thank you to the Wilkes County Hall of Fame Committee and Board. As my sister said, it is such an honor, and our grandfather would be so very honored because he loved Wilkes County so very much. And I just thought of something when I was watching that video that gave me great faith, because he got fired in Wilkes County and you're still honoring him. So I think that's a great thing to remember. Gives us all hope.
But tonight, our story begins on Sunday, March the 11th, 1888. It was the beginning of the great blizzard of 1888. While the Northeast got the brunt of this storm, we still know that in the mountains, the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina, in the small community of Ajo, they were getting quite cold and a lot of snow there as well. There, inside a very modest farmhouse, and when I say modest, I mean no running water and no electricity. Joshua Klingman Story and Martha Ann Day Story were not preparing for the storm. They were preparing to welcome a new baby. And that child was Thomas Edgar Story. No one could have imagined that the boy born under these circumstances would one day spend nearly 5 decades helping shape the future of Wilkes County. Edgar, as he was known, had an early passion for education. His family had very limited means, and higher education required determination, sacrifice, and persistence. Yet he persevered, graduating from Appalachian Training School, attending Trinity College, later known as Duke University. Then he moved down Tobacco Road and finished those degrees, graduating with an undergraduate at UNC Chapel Hill in 1913 and a master's degree in 1920. But learning for Edgar never stopped. It was truly a lifelong pursuit. While serving as an educator and raising a family, he continued pursuing knowledge and attended Wake Forest Law School, later passing the North Carolina bar in 1933. Then he began what would be his life's work, which was service. He became an educator, an attorney, legislator, judge, and civic leader. Amidst the education and career, he met and married Mary Clarissa Downs, and together they raised 3 sons, Thomas Jr., Donald Downs, and William Robert. Mary deserves recognition tonight as well. Behind Edgar's accomplishments stood a remarkable woman who supported his demanding schedule and handled family responsibilities while sharing her own talents as a musician and homemaker. Mary was essential to his success, and we are very grateful for Mama Story. In summary here, Edgar's commitment to education never wavered. He believed strongly in improving opportunities for students and teachers, and he spent years advocating for educational advancement throughout North Carolina. But life tested him, as we just watched in this video. In 1939, after a very successful career in education, he faced difficult circumstances, and he made an extraordinary decision. At age 51, he started over. He left the profession he loved and opened a law practice. And think about that for a moment. Most people would have seen nothing but uncertainty. He saw yet another opportunity to serve, and serve Wilkes County. He went on to serve 9 terms in the North Carolina General Assembly, where education remained one of his highest priorities. And while titles and accomplishments are impressive, they really aren't what I remember most. I remember his eyes sparkled, and you did see that when he was driving, when he was looking at you. I also remember he listened far more than he spoke. I remember him telling me, "You learn more when you listen than when you speak." And he was right. Those who worked with him also described him the same way. He was often seen with hand cupped to his ear, so he didn't miss a single beat. He was careful to listen to every discussion. And listening was not something he just did, it was who he was and how he showed respect. I remember Sunday mornings with our grandpappy. He would arrive at church at least an hour before everyone else, except Reverend Henry Morgan. As a child, I never understood why we were often the only people in the building. But now I understand. He was always preparing. He was writing notes, He was reading his lesson again, he was studying the Bible, and quietly getting ready. And believe me, if Grandpappy attended a meeting, you could safely assume there would be meeting notes. In fact, I suspect if he were here tonight, we'd all be leaving with meeting minutes tonight. For him, showing up mattered. Being prepared mattered. Service mattered. I was fortunate enough to accompany him to one of his UNC class reunions, the class of 1913, when I was about 8 years old. I don't remember every detail from that day, but I remember being incredibly impressed with the people around him, his former classmates. Looking back, I realized I was seeing people who respected him, not because of titles or accomplishments, but because of the kind of man he was. I never saw him angry. I never saw him lose his temper. The harshest word I ever heard him say, and this was his favorite, drat. That was about as serious as things got. Somehow that little word seems very fitting. Because Thomas Edgar Story possessed a quiet strength that never demanded attention. He did not need to be loud to be effective. He did not need to dominate a room to lead it. He showed up, he stood by his principles, and he served others. Tonight, we honor his 48 years of service to Wilkes County. But for our family, we honor something even more personal. We honor our Grandpappy. So thank you to Thomas Edgar Story for showing us what a life of humility, character, and service truly looks like. Thank you all, and thank you for being here tonight. Thank you to our family. We have 5 of 7 grandchildren here tonight and their spouses, and we are so grateful to family and our friends. So thank you all. Good night. Thank you.
Our final inductee is a legendary figure, affectionately remembered as the matriarch of Wilkes County, a visionary woman who spent her life fiercely protecting our history and developing our culture. Affectionately known as Miss Annie, she was a force of nature who believed in filling the lives of local children with grand, wholesome adventures. Whether she was leading a march down the Overmountain Victory Trail, teaching generations of children how to swim, or loading buses of high schoolers to experience the museums of Washington, D.C., she led with an unshakable, active faith. As a brilliant educator, she went on to serve as the arts coordinator for Wilkes County Schools, designing an integrated cultural arts curriculum that still enriches our classrooms today. Her passion for preservation quite literally reshaped our landscape. She was instrumental in saving the old jail from becoming a parking lot, and she successfully lobbied to place 10 downtown buildings on the National Register of Historic Places, paving the way for the Wilkes Heritage Museum. Perhaps her most vibrant gift to us came in 1962 when she founded the Wilkes Art Gallery, creating a lasting home for creativity that still inspires all ages today.
I will describe Annie Winkler as a mover and a shaker. When we moved here from out of town, at that particular time, the community college was having artists from other places to teach classes to adults. And all of a sudden, all of these people got really interested in art. We formed an artist league. We needed a place to show our art. Annie stepped into the picture. She opened up her house, her basement and her parlor, as she called it, to exhibit our work. Annie wanted us to have a gallery, and so she managed to get it done. And we had exhibitions there. She urged us to bring her our work so she could take it to different places around the county, which we did. And she would take these paintings, took them to what I call the Old Y. They were exhibited there, the hospital, at the college, any building that she could find that would let her hang them there. She was really, really pushing. But all the time, Annie was in the background doing her thing.
Saying no to her was a toughie. And boy, she was just quite the force. From her house, it moved eventually to the space at the old library or old post office, which is currently there. This is a state-of-the-art facility, and boy, from the infancy in the early 60s to now, we've really benefited from her power. She was never the artist herself. I mean, she just shared her drive to teach and share and motivate. She was a mover and shaker as far as getting exposures for the arts. She introduced a lot of folks and got many people started in new art.
Annie Winkler, that she served as my guide, introduced me to Wilkes County. She told me wonderful stories about Wilkes and the people. Bless her heart, I owe her so much. I fell in love with Wilkes County.
Annie Winkler was one of the early workers and historians back in Wilkes County, back before history was really considered a big important asset. I became acquainted with Annie Winkler through working with the Over Mountain Victory Trail. And the Over Mountain Victory Trail was enacted by Congress as a National Historic Trail in the year 1980. And Annie Winkler was one of those early workers here in Wilkes County who made it happen. I had that common bond with Annie Winkler, that we both were enthusiastic about history. That led me to do such things as work with the Wilkes Heritage Museum project that took place about 20 years ago. So I know those seeds that Annie Winkler planted had a bigger mission that I didn't even realize at the time. Her drive and interest in history led me down that path, but Annie Winkler was one of the pioneers of Wilkes County history.
We just looked up to her because she was working so hard, and she really made some people here really turn into really good artists. There were people who had the ability but didn't know how to go about it or what to do with it. And I think with her urging, they did.
To know now that she made it happen for us, for it to be still being very viable now. When you go to that gallery, I mean, she can't help but be proud. And that's a byproduct, I think, of some of her energies.
She would be like the muse. She would whisper in somebody's ear and get them turned on to history. She would whisper in somebody's ear and turn them on to art. And although she may not actually do it herself, she would inspire others to do it.
Please join me in honoring a monumental pioneer of art, history, and education as we induct the late Annie Finley Winkler into the Wilkes County Hall of Fame. Accepting on her behalf is Brooke Horn, director of the Wilkes Art Gallery.
Well, I promised myself I wouldn't cry, but I've cried the whole night, so I apologize. Thank you so much to the Hall of Fame and for honoring and acknowledging Annie. I'm accepting on her behalf, but this award technically belongs to her family, and we'll hold it at Wilkes Art Gallery, and so we're happy to have that at our home. Thank you so much for preserving the legacy of incredible individuals here in Wilkes County. There were some incredible people here, and I'm so thankful that the Wilkes Art Gallery has been a part of some of their story, and that in return, Annie has been a part of that as well. Thank you to all who have helped me gather information on Annie. Thank you for those who have spoke on her. I didn't know Annie like everyone else has. Have you ever loved someone that you've never met? That's who Annie is to me. I didn't know Annie, but I do know Annie. in 2014, I began working with the town of Wilkesboro as a designer. We started sketching, you saw some older maps of the old historic walking tour, and I was working on some new walking tour maps, and so I went out into Wilkesboro and I started sketching old buildings, learning about the history of each of them. And part of that project was to restore a new love for new generations here in Wilkes County. And so you might have seen I Love Wilkesboro, and that's where that came from. And so as I was researching some of those buildings in that walking tour and developing new maps, it was there that I first met the historical work of Annie. Andrew Carlton and Jennifer Furr and I, we began discussing in the next project. And so we were talking about preservation and how do we need to bring that attention to Wilkes County to make sure that the historical work continued in Wilkes County. And so as we further worked into I Love Wilkesboro, we started designing banners and we started digging into the archives. And we started becoming more a part of This Place Matters, which was with the National Trust for Historic Preservation. So I put on the white gloves and I started digging into those archives and those files. And I started looking at different pioneers of Wilkes County. And there was Annie, again, the matriarch of Wilkes. In 2022, after 12 years of serving as an art instructor at Wilkes Art Gallery, I accepted the position of executive director. Very thankful for that position, knowing there was a vital line in Wilkes County for our arts and those who advocate for our arts. And there was Annie, the founder, the art teacher, the nurturer, and the pushy pioneer of Wilkes. And I'm so thankful that she is part of my every day. It was through a dear friend of mine, you might know him as Ward Nichols, I started hearing lots of stories, her stories of children on train tracks, and she knew the train schedule. And so she timed everything exact so that these kids could get the most exciting adventure of the Industrial Revolution that took place here. And then she would get them off the track. And it was part of their field trips. She did these wild things that gave kids extreme and radical experiences of their county and where they lived. And the stories go on. Taking a bus of high school art students to Boston and then Philadelphia. And then they went to Washington, D.C. And she did it alone. She did these amazing things. And so I'm so thankful to have learned through Ward and through many others who have come through Wilkes Art Gallery to meet the friend, Annie as the friend. So today, 64 years later, I'm in her footsteps, making sure that I'm ensuring her path of preservation of the cultural arts and for the visual arts and the performing arts in our county. Pursuing her mission for our county's youth, its special needs, and its underserved communities. And making sure that her vision and the development of the enrichment through the arts is followed through. And that also goes for its artists and its patrons that support Wilkes Art Gallery in keeping things going. Because that's our reality. And it started with Annie. So I encourage you tonight, as you leave, if you didn't know Annie, meet Annie. You heard that she was part of the founding curriculum for Wilkes County schools. She was also a part of the first exhibition of art, children's art, that is on the walls in this very building. She founded a lot of our youth's art programs in making sure that the youth were heard through their processing of life through art. I have a few final words from a distant cousin who couldn't be here tonight, so I'm going to end with these words. And these are the words of Parks Reese. Annie Winkler was a force of nature with seemingly endless energy. She charged ahead on all sorts of civic projects, and she got a couple of generations of kids outdoors, riding horses, learning about nature, and exploring anything interesting. And I was one of those kids, and I was thankful for it, though not always appreciating at the time, especially when I was given the job of shoveling horse poop from the day camp stalls the summer of my 3rd and 4th grades. But I knew to love it, and I now have fond memories. I learned to ride like a banshee, which has served me well on the ranches in the mountains of Montana. I have a box of framed certificates of merit and appreciation from prestigious places like North Carolina's Museum Council, the Wilkes Historical Society, and many more. She was full speed ahead, and less ambitious souls were sometimes rubbed the wrong way due to her unbridled enthusiasm. But she was an icon of the community and the county, and dozens of us children are better off for it. Due to my mother's intermittent illness, growing up, I lived with Annie's family and was accepted as a member. Annie, with the help of my mother, Edith Carter, and many others who started what has grown into the Wilkes Art Gallery. They displayed art in the living room, dining room, and the hallways of Annie's home. And I remember the family sitting down to dinner as perfect strangers walked through her front door to visit the Riverview Art Center. They wandered through the house looking at art as we ate dinner, and we loved it. Being inducted to the Wilkes Hall of Fame is so perfectly well-deserved. I wish she could be here in person. She would have loved to be here to see you all. I'm pretty sure her spirit is smiling. Thank you.
And now I'd like to invite Revis Phelps back to the podium to present this year's Legacy Award.
Okay, the last award tonight, and one of my favorites. Every year we get to recognize wonderful individuals who have made a profound difference in this community. But the Legacy Award gives us a chance to recognize organizations that also make a profound difference to this community. The Wilkes County Hall of Fame Legacy Award was created to recognize those that have made a significant impact for the great state of Wilkes through exemplifying inspiration, service, and dedication to our community. For more than 35 years, this year's recipient, Carolina West, has been a trusted and dependable part of life here in Wilkes. From the early days of bag phones to today's cutting-edge 5G technology, Carolina West built its success on something even more powerful than technology: personal relationships, hometown values, commitment to giving back. Each year, they support over 100 local events and organizations, investing more than $500,000 back into our community each year. It is my honor to recognize and congratulate our 2026 Legacy Award winner, Carolina West.
Back in 1991, Carolina West Wireless made a simple promise to bring wireless connectivity to our community, with the heart of our hometowns leading the way. For 35 years, we've been more than a wireless provider. We've been your connection to what matters most. From local farms to Main Street storefronts, we're proud to keep our communities connected. From the very first phone call to today's reliable 5G, from bag phones to iPhones, we've continually grown our network to deliver dependable coverage. While our technology has evolved, our personal customer service and commitment to delivering great value have stayed right here at home. Because being local means investing in community, to do our part in ensuring a brighter, more prosperous future. Through our Communication for Education program, we've proudly donated over $1 million to local schools, along with supporting many other community initiatives, sponsorships, and nonprofits across our region. After all, we live, work, and play here too. Now, our promise remains the same: to serve our communities with innovative technology that keeps them connected to what matters most.
So Revis asked me, "Can I take your phone?" I said, "No, I got my notes in it." I think it's fitting for somebody in my business to do that. Thank you guys so much. My name is Jackie Mallory, and I'm the Chief Marketing and Sales Officer for Carolina West Wireless. With me are my senior directors. Todd Elledge is our Director of Marketing, and Matthew Stamper is our Director of Sales. And I would actually like to ask our team that's with us here tonight to stand up. I'm going to start with, as we like to call her, badge of the bone, Jamie Stone. And then we've got Jared Cornett. He's on our B2B team as well. And then Randy James, who leads the B2B team, and Carmen McGee, who's been with the company a long time and leads our indirect team. So thank you, guys. It's really hard for me to put in words how special this recognition is for me and to Carolina West. It's going on 15 years that I've had the privilege of living in Wilkes County and being a part of this community. Shortly after I got here, I, along with the rest of the executive team, decided that we would put together what we call our company's 4 foundational pillars. And those pillars influence what we do each and every day. The first one is our network, because that's what we do. And we are committed to providing the best wireless service experience in Western North Carolina and nationally as we can. And we want to do it with value. We're determined to bring it to customers at a great and very competitive value. The third one you've heard a lot about in that video and Revis talked about, and that is local. And it's all about us giving back. We are passionate about supporting our neighbors and your important causes. Education is especially important to us, and we are also committed to wellness and recreation in our communities. Local for us is about those donations and the financial support, but it's also about showing up and being a part of the causes and the communities. And last but not least, is people. And for us, people means our employees, it means our customers, and it means you guys. It means the people in our communities. Thank you for letting us be a part of Wilkes, and thank you to the Wilkes County Hall of Fame for the honor of this recognition. This is more important to our Carolina West family than you guys will ever know. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, what an inspirational evening we've had. Hearing these stories tonight, we're reminded of the true power of legacy. From the pristine trails of the Greenway to the halls of our schools and courtrooms, local galleries, and local health centers that we rely upon, the individuals that we honored tonight didn't just live in Wilkes County, they built it, they protected it, they gave it its softer side of culture and its unyielding foundation of integrity. To our 2026 inductees and their families, thank you. Thank you for showing our youth what is possible when you choose a life of excellence, grit, and purpose. You have given our entire community a reason to stand a little taller tonight. I want to extend one final heartfelt thank you to everyone in attendance this evening. Thank you to our board of directors, our sponsors, and to each of you sitting at these tables. Your presence and your generosity tonight ensure that the next generation of Wilkes County students will have the resources, the grants, and the inspiration that they need to write their own extraordinary chapters. If you know of someone who should be considered for induction into the Hall of Fame, nominations are accepted through November 30th of each year, and you can visit wilkescountyhalloffame.org to complete a nomination form. Please drive home safely tonight. Cherish the rich history that we share, and let's all leave here committed to making our community just a little bit better than we found it. Thank you, and good night.